I am trying to talk today to you about social disruptions. Fundamentally, what's happening is that the business is moving away from the heuristic form of information gathering to a more age of analytics and big data. Now, this is very, very interesting if you notice that we used to do a lot of things as dad or as senior managers or on gut feel, on experiences, on hunch. Thank you. We used to do a lot on all these on gut feel, hunch, experiences. Today, everything is data. Whether it's a big data or it's analytics. You know, I have a young friend who's done admirably well in the business side called Deep Kalra. He owns a company called MakeMyTrip.com. It's become $1 billion enterprise in 6 years, Make My Trip. And they're 100% e-commerce. And I was having a chat with him about 6 months back, and I was saying, how did you succeed? And what was happening around as you were doing? He said, Dada, everything is analytics for us. I have 400 people in my back office who are just trying to track travelers and their behavior of travel. This is analytics. This is big data. And hundreds and thousands of people who travel around my country or outside, there is a pattern in them of travel. There's a pattern in economics. There's a pattern in spending. There's a pattern in everything they do. So if I can capture that pattern, then I will know Mr. Kapoor is likely to go to Agra in the next trip. I may be wrong, but if you take law of averages and don't take Mr. Kapoor per se, I won't be wrong. I'll be right. So this exercise from hunch and experience is now getting into real-time data analytics, big-time data analytics, which in computer area we call big data usage. And it's huge. Everything, you look at trend analysis. My friend in US who is a teacher, he tells me that we do trend analysis. How do you do trend analysis? That when that guy is walking into that shopping mall, we can, through trend analysis, guess, at least guess, what is he going to buy. Because every 32,400th visitor of that mall bought an X item. Now, the kind of research which goes behind this predictability or prediction management, as it's called, is humongous. But there is a method in this whole exercise. It is not that gut and the hunch and the feel and the experience alone. So this is again disruption of sorts. This is again trusting the data rather than trusting the hunch. You can always say that at the end of the day, they're doing the same thing which my hunch would have told them to do. Yes, sure. But I'm not talking about an example. I'm talking about the way of living, the way the disruptions are happening and we are adapting to it. So if you don't believe in data, you're not adapting to the disruption. If you do believe fundamentally in the value of data, then perhaps some of your decisions of today could change, maybe not. Just consider. So these are the areas on which this exercise is going on today. So we crunch data, we analyze data, we cleanse data, we decipher data, we mine data, and we do all kinds of things with data to know that what is Mr. Chatterjee doing now, whoever that Mr. Chatterjee is, and try and assimilate from our background data of the trend analysis and prediction management, how that can work. And more of this will govern the industry working of tomorrow, the product management of tomorrow, the development of innovation and the direction the market will go tomorrow. So a lot of such things are happening around us. So as I said just now, never before have we been in the midst of such gigantic volumes of data. And that, luckily for us, is also a business. So now let us see then and now again. You, the individual, is mobile devices. Everything is your mobile device. Now I was talking yesterday with my son and I said, when we buy an iPhone 6 Plus vis-a-vis an iPhone 6, these are the two latest Apple phones, mobile phones. The only reason I was looking at buying an iPhone 6 Plus, not because of the better camera, better other stuff, and the battery life, etc., is that do I need a laptop after that? Or do I need a laptop only on very, very rare occasions where I can use it, or a printer device only to use it? Because the screen of iPhone 6 is much larger. At the same time, it's not that large that I can't use it as a phone. I'm telling you this to tell you that slowly, I'm telling you this to tell you that there is this integration which is happening by adapting these disruptions. So as you keep adapting these disruptions, there is a set of activities that's going on the industry side which makes it more and more compact for you, lesser and lesser devices for you. So if you came from 1401 days and you went on to the PC days and now you have an iPhone 6 Plus, there has been a huge change in the process of using, manipulating, computing data and graphics and leading your life a little more efficiently, shall we say. So when we loosely use the word SMAC, which is a very oft quoted word in the IT industry today, so we have social for S, mobile for M, analytics for A, and cloud computing for C. So it's called SMAC. And these are the four things which is going to replace the then areas here. So cloud is going to become your home or office or infrastructure. And you have to wonder whether you need an office or you pay per use, pay as you use it. Analytics will create that big data syndrome for you, where you can do a lot of work with, if you have data analytics with you. Friends and clubbing will get partly replaced by the social media, including Facebooks of the world, and you, your personality, will be your mobile phone. So I think when these kind of things start happening, and again you multiply this by 10 years or 5 years, and you subtract this by 5 years and 10 years, you will perhaps see some reasoning to the kind of disruption you yourself are doing today. And maybe not knowingly, but you are accepting this as a fait accompli as it goes around handling that. So adapting this has these kind of elements, and one very major element which I would like to raise to people here, because I find a lot of seniors are here and they have grown up sons and daughters today, and I'm sure there is a generational disconnect at times, and you get up from a discussion with your son or daughter and either he or she walks away or you walk away, because there is no chance of a meeting ground of the way two of us think. I will just give you an example for you to consider this disruption or adapting to this disruption exercise. First of all, this journey is extremely personal, and it is intensely personal and internal, and you have to learn to understand, to relate with your children, your younger colleagues, your customers, and the resultants which you get from here is deeper understanding of the gaps that need filling. And it is the gaps which we are talking here, and it is the gaps which we are trying to fill or build. Let me give you a very interesting example.